Hey guys, it has been over 2 years since the book was published by Ocean Reeves Publishers, and I've been wanting to do this for my friend for a long time, and she's got MS and she's legally blind. So I thought I'd YouTube it, and then that way if there's other people like myself that aren't really good at reading, they might want to follow. So what I was going to do is read, and then at different times I'll probably discuss different things through the book. And I'm interested to read the book as to 2 years later with a little bit more confidence if this is how I feel about things. And I thought that conversation and interaction would be good for, like I said, for people who don't read. And then in another 2 or 5 years' time, I'll have a look at that and see if that's how I still feel about things. Because as you evolve and get more knowledge, things change. So the book is called Dangerous Animals in the Home. This is for you, Ange. Okay? And on the top, the Ocean Reeves publishers worked really, really hard, and they got Sarah Moynihan to write a little review on it, and I'm pretty honoured that I've been given this opportunity, because I don't think I would have been able to afford to have it published as well as what they've done for me. It's so good to see more Australians speaking up and sharing their stories of abuse. I applaud Karen for speaking up and sharing her story with us. Sarah Moynihan, author of Allegedly, Not Just Another Former Child Star, from Hey Dad fame. So what was really important to me is underneath the name of the book, Dangerous Animals in the Home, you have a little slogan, and there was lots of interaction with that. I really didn't want it to be about my abuse, because this is about me sharing a story to explain to different family members that when something happens to me, it didn't just happen to me. The torture that still haunts my mother, which I wish it wouldn't, because it's not hers. But, you know, my mother was affected, my brother and sister, you know, they had a great dad. He was a great man to them. And for them to have to be on the fence with someone that has brought them up and paid for everything, and he was literally a good dad to them. And it's really hard for them to get their heads around too. So that's why it's called My Abuse, The Bigger Picture, by Karen Weber. Okay, so on the back of the book, it's been ages, like seriously, I haven't looked at this book for probably 2 years. We did a lot of advertising of the book in the first 12 months, and then things got really overwhelming to me. I felt like, this is Buster. Hey, come here. Hey Buster. My best buddy. And this is a cup of tea I'm having while I'm talking to you guys. Okay. So it's interesting for me to reread this and see where it went. Can you recognize a dangerous animal in your home? Dangerous Animals in the Home is the true story of a woman who, on the surface, has it all. A successful business, popularity, loving family and friends, but beneath the surface there is much, much more. So they were very kind in saying all that. Delivering a raw, real and insightful portrayal of abuse in the family, Karen outlines how the actions of one pedophile can affect every aspect of the victim's life and the lives of those closest, which I mentioned before. Laying her heart on her sleeve, Karen shares the details of failed relationships, self-destructive behaviours, and despite the underlying trauma, some funny things along the way, which is a testament to the resilience and the power of positive relationships. I have been blessed. The story is groundbreaking in its honesty, aims to dissolve the taboo surrounding the subjects of pedophilia and allows other victims to start conversations. And I cannot tell you, once I told my story, how many beautiful people shared their stories with me, and some of them for the very first time telling anyone. And if you are one of them and you're watching this, know it stays here. Being a hairdresser, I've been very, very good at that. The story, groundbreaking in its honesty, aims to dissolve the taboo surrounding the subjects of pedophilia, and allows other victims to start conversations. The antics will have you laughing, crying, but most of all, they will have you stop and rethink the subject of abuse in a home. Strong messages throughout will speak to those who have been wronged by any abuse and provide vulnerable insight into how to recognise signs of abuse and dangerous animals in your home. And hopefully you don't have any. In saying that, I really, very, very, very important for you to know that everyone has a story. And that's probably why so many of my girlfriends have related to this. Maybe, it wasn't a sexual abuse. Maybe it was a brother that was horrible, or a mother that had narcissism and tormented you as a child. Like, there's so many different things, and it doesn't even have to be in a home. It could be bad experience as a party girl, or something horrible in a workplace. There's hardly anyone, male or female, that get through life without, there's no one. Everyone has a traumatic experience at least once in their life. And if it's not directly your experience, having someone closest to you go through that can sometimes feel like it's yours. All right, well, let's get started. Dangerous animals in the home. My abuse, the bigger picture. It has lots of different contents, but we won't worry about that. The first chapter is called Setting. All right, we'll go into the preface. For those who don't know me, I have dyslexia. You probably picked that up already. I don't pronounce words extremely well, but like I said, this is more for my girlfriend, and if you're listening, awesome. And although I don't see it as a big deal, the dyslexia, it has made the journey of writing this book challenging. Lucky, I have had two amazing ladies in my life that have helped me along the way. Listening, writing, editing, and compiling all my notes into something I can call my story. A story that I can use to help others. Those two ladies, mainly Alison McGrath. I was just lucky at the time. She was doing lots of changes in her life, and she had a bit of spare time, a lot of spare time she gave me actually. And she was the one that compiled and wrote it all down. And then my girlfriend Leonie, who is a psychiatrist, she pulled me up on a few things. I already knew that what had happened to me was incest, but for some reason I struggled with that word for a very, 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 very long time. So yeah, she put some hard facts in my face, and with a very, very kind heart, and she held my hand while she stepped me through a few truths. Sometimes I might have said something where she said, that's your opinion, so you're entitled to it. I think she just made me be a little bit more careful as to, for instance, at one stage there, and I still do it, you can't believe that the main man in your life as a child can do something so horrific to you. And you try and find excuses for it, especially when it didn't happen to the other siblings. And you try and give excuses for it. There is no excuse. And she had to say that to me too. And I thank you, Leonie. All right. So, I can call my story. I've spent much of my time as a hairdresser, and in a typical week, I would listen to up to 30 people at a minimal speak and tell something about their life. The great thing about being a hairdresser is it offers you a chance to continuously learn. My clients are always teaching me. Working as a hairdresser offers the benefit of hindsight to problems you haven't even encountered. It gives you a chance to hear someone else's problem and their solution. So you have snippets of ideas of how to deal with various situations. But even with the opportunity to listen to others' stories, I still look back on my life. I wish I'd known this earlier, or I wish I'd said this a long time ago. But that's the power of hindsight. I'm sure that in another decade, like I was saying before, I'll be still saying the same thing about what I'm writing to you at this very moment. Over the years, my story has broken so many hearts, and now that I'm nearly 50, 54 now, I often wonder if I'd had a little more insight into the emotions and reactions, would I have been able to cope differently? Could I have made the situation less painful for everyone involved? I'll never really know. What I do know is that my story is common, sadly more common than many people realize. And I want to share it with you. I want to share my story to pass on my knowledge. I want to share my story so you know you are not alone. The abuse you're experiencing isn't normal. This book isn't about solutions, it's about challenging perceptions, the views of others about pedophilia, the abusers, victims, and extended family and friends. It's about showing you that everyone in this world is just coping with their troubles of their own lives in the best way they know how. So really, this book is about empathy. And it encourages change because I want the way we talk about pedophilia to change. I don't want the word pedophilia to be a dirty word because the word itself isn't a dirty word. We are not scared to say the word snake or spider, nor are we scared to teach our children to be wary of them. I want children to learn how to recognize pedophilia behavior and how to speak up and be heard. Adults need to be comfortable with talking about pedophilia, which in turn will enable their kids to feel more comfortable with talking about it. Pedophiles are not going away, and like snakes and spiders, we can't pretend they are not there. You can't ignore them and hope they'll go away. You can try prevention, but sometimes it just doesn't work. We're going to have to live with the idea that they are there, and parents need to know that by not educating our children, we're leaving them vulnerable to harm. So like hindsight, this story is about sharing knowledge. It's about teaching our children to recognize a situation before it's too late. Adults must step up and not be afraid to speak up. We have to show support and to those who are living with the pain caused by abuse, and understand that everyone deals with trauma in their own way, very different ways. Yes, in some homes there are dangerous animals, and we adults need to keep a lookout to protect our young. Okay guys, I will leave it for there and I will read the next chapter tomorrow.